25 January. We are going to discuss our contemporary issue on migration, and we want to do the best we can within the shortest possible time. So we take off immediately. On your screen, you see a projection of the slides. So Hilda, your hand is up to read for us. You may set off to read what you see on the screen. The discussion is theories of migration. I'm expecting that you would have gone through, so where it matters, we read, but most of them we will skip. Go ahead, please, Hilda.
Okay, thank you, Doug. Introduction. Migration has been occurring since it started from the beginning of man's appearance in this universe. Human mobility was even present in the primitive times, and people used to migrate in search of abundant food and in search of safe living environments and protection from physical dangers. In modern age, migration has gained importance with the ushering of the era of industrialization and urbanization.
Very good. So that is just to tell us that it is not a recent phenomenon, but in current times, it has become an issue of focus. You have seen that America has their immigration done, and we are already hearing things about immigration challenges, and Trump is bent on ensuring the integrity of America's borders. This discussion hovers around that. We have seen Western Togoland, or if like not Western Togoland, our neighboring countries in Ghana here having issues when it's time for elections. This year's election, even the borders were temporarily closed, I'm told, because the integrity of the nation is in question. My lady, read what you see on your screen, please.
The factors like development of modern means of transport and communication, intermingling and interaction of different cultures, globalization, etc., has led thousands of people to migrate in search of better opportunities related to education, employment, and living standard, among other factors. Migration is one of the causes of social change, and it is one of the three basic components of demographic change, the other two being birth and death. Migration is a complex phenomenon affected by many factors, and attempts have been made from time to time to understand various factors influencing the process.
Very good. All these are, obvious preliminary comments. Now, the point of discussion that is of concern to us as philosophers who are deliberating on contemporary issues and are taking a focus or giving focus to migration. What are the philosophically interesting questions that we want to look at? Please read these, and then we will take them one after the other in our discussion. Go ahead.
The topic of migration raises important and challenging normative questions. What is
It
the
raises them. Go ahead.
what is the legitimacy of state power? States exercise power over borders, but what, if anything, justifies this power? What are the boundaries of political membership? Is it morally permissible for liberal democratic states to prevent their citizens from existing in the country and exclude prospective migrants from entering? If liberal democratic states are justified in excluding some and accepting others, how should they decide whom to admit?
Very good. So these are the questions of normative interest to a thinker, philosophical thinker, where we are going to offer our philosophical reflections to the status quo. So philosophers question the status quo and raise important and challenging questions, and not just do that, but also propose alternatives after such critical examinations are done. And so you'll see that the core issues around migration that we are going to look at are how legitimate is the power of the state? What is the source of that legitimacy? if the state says we are not allowing people to fly in, let's say when COVID came up, or if the state authority says we are not allowing anyone to exit the nation or move even from Legon campus to Accra, that was what lockdown meant. It was restricting your movement from one place to the other, regardless of what you're going to look for. You know, what justifies this authority or power that the state wields over us in terms of movement? See, migration is what your colleague read earlier. Some move for food, some move to work, some move for marriage, some move for family, some move for because of environmental challenges, you know, desertification, so they can't farm where they are. That is their homeland, yes, but they can't farm there. There's a drought. Look at Abraham and Co. in the Bible. They had to keep moving. Somewhere maybe on the Sahel, it is too hot at that time, so they'll move and move. So the factors that make people move are many, and I'm not going to tell you those. You have to read to find them. It's quite a lot, okay? But the questions that are of interest to us philosophers, and even as a discussion on contemporary issues, so what is the source of that legitimacy for restricting the movement of people? Restriction, you control it, you regulate. Doesn't that undermine man's inalienable right to freedom of expression and freedom of movement, freedom of joining, associating with who you want to? You see, does the state have that legitimacy to restrict your movement, whether a member of that state, so to speak, or not? It's a very important philosophical question. And to what extent does the state have that? Remember COVID. Remember nations that will not permit others to even leave. You have to stay there. Let's say you are a Ghanaian, so we insist that you must be here to build a nation with us. You can't leave. Can that ever be justified? Or is there a justification for it? Think about it. That's one. Two, your lady colleague read, what are the boundaries that define that membership? The political membership. What boundary? Is it Asante or Ghana or West Africa or Africa? You see, that is geographical boundaries I'm talking about. But now, the political membership, what defines your being a member of a state or a collective, so that it will restrict? Can I move my membership of being Asante or Ghana or Fanti or Ghanaian or what have you? Which level of political membership, you know, is the reference point when we are talking of migration? Okay, it's very important. Then there comes the third point. Is it morally permissible for liberal democratic states to prevent their citizens from exiting? If the state is a liberal democratic one, sorry, is there moral permission for exiting and you know, for people to have the authority to exit and exclude others from coming in? In other words, can I lay a boundary on who can come in and who can go out? If it is my room, I have my keys. I lock it. Your hostel, you lock your room and go, and then you determine who comes in and who goes out. Who goes out? Can we apply same to being Ghanaian, going to America, or being American, or what have you? Trump says now that he has come, he's not going to allow you to say that you have given birth in a nation, so your child is an American. I hope you can hear me, please.
Yes,
all right, yes. Thank you. Then the last one is should liberal democracies decide whom to admit? Let's engage.
Yes, madam.
All right, thank you very much. So let's engage, let's discuss from that point. Now the facts, so my slides are showing you some of the facts of migration. It's just information to help your deliberation. Work that has been done, data that has been gathered already, so you can reference to work with. And so the authors are there. Then you can speak authoritatively on what you say. Okay, there are 244 million international migrants in the world today, roughly 3% of the world's population. Then, can imagine. Please, can you read this? My friend, read and let us see. Some may need it as a reference point. Hilda, go ahead.
Migration fact. There are 244 million international migrants in the world today. Roughly 3% of the world, 8% are refugees, many of whom reside in countries near countries of origin. That is United Nations 26. Most international migrants have moved to countries with higher levels of development than their countries of origin. The United States is the top migrant destination in the world, with a migrant population of 47 million, 19% of the world's total. Germany and Russian second and third largest numbers worldwide, 12 million each, followed by Saudi Arabia, 10 million. The United Kingdom, United Arab Emirates, Canada, Australia, Spain are also in the top 10. Doc, please.
All right, my lady, can you hear me? Hello, Hilda, are you done reading? Can you hear me, please? Hilda, can you hear me? I have joined with my gadget, so I want to know if anyone can hear me.
Yes, madam.
Yes.
Yes, madam.
Madam,
Yes,
can
I
hear
can
you.
hear you. But I can't see
Fine.
your slides.
Because I have had to move it. I will get back. I'm on my laptop.
Okay, madam.
It's fine. Okay, right. So back to the gadget. I think that yeah. This way, if one goes up, I can be on the other one. Yeah. So we can continue from. I'm sure you read to the end, my lady, right? So I want to move over there just so you got information, so I can move on. In Ghana, we can think of two possibilities of migration. Which of them do you think applies here? I wanted us to have a practical discussion on that. Which of the migration study do you think applies here? Or which ones can you see here? Anyone wants to? And I think, are you answering? Oh, excuse me. The hand is still the one that was wanted to. Tina, are you answering? Yes, I was asking that maybe I wanted to know if anyone could suggest any of the migrations that you think is occurring in Ghana. From your readings, which, Rutherford, go ahead. Ajay.
Madam, labor migration.
Very good. That's true. It's both international and intranational. Can you give an example of a labor migration that is occurring in Ghana? In other words, intra, a typical one that we can all easily reference. Anyone wants to do that? I want to see if you are connecting the reading to your context. Susan.
So, Doc, people migrating from the northern part of Ghana to the cities down south here, especially Accra, especially in search of better jobs.
Yes, the ladies, we like to call them the Kaya. You see that it's a typical example, a very contemporary issue for Ghana specifically. The Kaya scenario there. Okay, good. We can now continue. I think we have a bit more stability. Now, so Madam read it and showed us these statistics that are some are quite worrying. Yeah, people are moving all the place. We just hope that they went for tourists, relaxation, tourism, just to go and see, travel and see. Someone may just want to go to Dubai. It's Christmas. You want to go and relax. You don't see the sea often, so you're moving towards the coastal areas in Ghana to come and have a relaxation and return. Those would have been fine. But where there are health concerns or people are hungry or people feel intimidated, they are on asylum, they are refugees, and there are conflicts and wars. Look at the Gaza Strip in recent times, people are tons and tons of people, having to move, some voluntarily, some involuntarily. Okay, those are factual stuff that I don't want us to commit too much of our time to. Okay, so look at Africa. Please, just to be sure, can you see my screen, please? Africa, I think you can. I'm seeing my screen on my gadget, so you can. Yes, so we can go on. Okay, so look at the motivating factors. These are all obvious to you. I hope, I believe so. So they will just enrich your essays if you have to write on that. You should see how the desire to live, according to this research, is strong in the young and educated, but not so much strong in the old and non-educated folks. They don't have the inclination to move. They feel comfortable where they are. But the young are almost restless, and especially when they think they have what it takes to rub shoulders with others out there. So they are young and educated, and they feel that they could have a better lot than what they have, from one end to the other. This research says most Africans like to stay close to home. This is the thing with empirical research. It is the research we are referencing that is saying that from what they gathered. But you may find out that as time goes on, the trends change. And people, you could go all the way to some faraway Scandinavian country. You go and find one African, Ghanaian, or Nigerian hidden in that corner there. That's why maybe they are talking about the trends, how often that is. Okay, I think because of our communal instincts, if you can avoid it, especially females, and then or people who have families, family ties, the sense of care, the sense of belonging together, the need to attend, funerals and naming ceremonies and meeting, family meetings and what have you, may inspire a lot how people move and how far away they move. Okay, look at international migration from sub-Saharan Africa and how it has soared. I was asking the main campus students yesterday, how many Americans would even go for a passport, let alone go to some other country's embassy to look for a visa? Perhaps there is no instinct, there's no desire to even travel. So you wouldn't be interested in looking for documents that allow you to migrate out of America. But look at how many people want to go in there. And why sometimes I'm inclined to agree to a large extent with some of the policies that someone like President Trump makes. He's very defensive of his nation and the citizens of the nation, America, because if everyone did that to the various degrees, of course, then there wouldn't be the need to be going. Imagine every day people are interested in coming to your dormitory or your hostel. You and your friends that have put yourselves together in that room. Everybody in the hall wants to come into your room to come and watch television. They are coming to play. They are coming to iron their clothing. They need some salt. They are looking for you. Morning breakfast. They want bread. Before you step out, oh, can you give me your soap to wash? Hey, before long, you have a very big padlock. Some even take it without your permission because they think you have. How did you get? So it's a big deal when you see statistics like what we saw earlier, the number of people moving towards a certain direction and what is inspiring that. So these are also there for you to look at. Look on your screen there. They are just more factually tested claims that you can reference to help your critical analysis. Okay, some say most migrations from agricultural to industrial areas. This is George Ravenstein's version. I think I mentioned that if I am a farmer, then when the season changes, those who depend on seasonal farming, then when it's dry season, you see that I'll migrate to my hometown where the weather will be better. Okay, this other things, Ravenstein thinks that the major causes of migration are economic. You see the females thing I was talking about. Look on your screen, please. This one. Obviously, because they would be the bearers and the carers of home and nurturing children and stuff like that. Primarily, it might turn out that their movement will be less restricted, especially when it has to be about going far away. Some think that migration increases with the development of industry, commerce, transport, and what have you. If I can move, there's car, there's train, there are buses. You know that you can do 1 week in Accra, and then over the weekend quickly hop into an available bus and go to the back north to take care of grandma and wash her things and do some soup and stews for her. And then Monday you are back in Accra because transport is that easy and you are engaged in commerce, work, and industry. You can fund that. So grandma will do fine. She just needs to get up, warm a soup. There's water in the pot. She'll drink. So you may not be there, but it can inspire your moving and going and coming. Okay, large towns grow more by migration than by natural increase and so on and so forth. These are factual claims made based on whatever evidence gathered. May I have someone? Hilda, you are reading fine, so be on standby. But Ernestina will read now. I saw her hand, and then if we need if we need someone else to read, then we will go. I'll take attendance, please. So tell your colleagues that are not on. That is why I kept insisting that we don't want the playing around thing, please, respectfully, okay? And Estina, please read the pull and push factors, and then we are ready to delve into very heavy material. Go ahead.
So push and pull factors. Migration is broadly understood as a permanent or semi-permanent change of residence. In other words, migration may be defined as a form of relocation, diffusion, that's the spread of people, ideas, innovations, behaviors from one place to another, involving permanent moves to new locations. The reason that people migrate are determined by push and pull factors, which are forces that either induce people to move to a new location or oblige them to leave old residence. This could be economic, political, cultural, and environmental. Push factors are conditions that can force people to leave their homes and are related to the country from which a person migrates.
Very good. I don't think that this is anything to belabor. Can any one of you give me some of the factors that pull people? Look at the expression to pull. It means you are outside and you are dragging, attracting the person out. So that factor is not within the nation or the country or the vicinity. It is outside of that place, but it is pulling her out. You see that? But push factors are inside where the person is, and they are throwing the person out. It pushes her out. Then the pull factors are external. They are outside, dragging or attracting the person out. Push, they are uncomfortable situations that is making her move from where she is. Okay, just that. But apart from that, the factors may overlap. So let's look at some of those factors. I think we've said that already. One or two of them, and we are good to go. Sarah, go ahead.
Better schooling opportunities outside of the environment. In terms of work, better job opportunities, better terms of conditions and services for workers. When it comes to health delivery, better healthcare delivery.
Very
And when
good.
it comes
Hmm.
comes to finances, when, for example, there are people who can get better economic opportunities, save and to get
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. So that's financial. Very good. So if you look on your screen, you have quite a number of them. Sometimes the person is being persecuted politically. I mean, just some examples. I don't want to label anyone's experience as a persecution. If you are also doing something bad and they are looking for you, you may not necessarily call it persecution. But I wanted five examples to give. We found people were wanted and they were moving from one place to the other, at a place there at Palestine and Israel fight over there. You know that the Iran, whatever. You would see that someone belongs to a certain place, but he or she is running, finding solace in other nations. And that is an example of political reason for the person moving. I wouldn't want to call it persecution because that would have been a judgment already that you think the person is innocent and he or she is being wanted. But just to show you instances like that. So that can make people migrate. On your screen still, we see poor healthcare, loss of wealth. Look at the Kantamanto people. If this thing happened to you, you had all your, life savings there. You know that the year has just begun. So very generous. So Charlie. So you've gone to draw everything, you're coming to open, buy 4 shops and then stuff it up with 10 containers each of stuff. They've all come in. You were just about going to open them now for people to come and do the wholesale and the retail and what have you. And everything burns down to rubble. Nothing. Your money's because it's just the beginning of the year. You set things out, then you can bank some, then you can relocate some and what have you. And everything, money, people's money, what have you, just burns. It is burnt, no insurance, nothing. It can be very frustrating. People may just have to move. Then natural disasters like the Turkey earthquake and what have you. Think wide so that you can get practical examples. I had students who had written recommendations for, and they had gotten schools there doing very fine. Because of that natural disaster, supposedly, they had to move. Who wants to, have another earthquake? So they had to move. And some have returned and are doing courses here in the nation. Others are now going to have to reorganize themselves. Can you imagine? Look at the Ukraine and the Russia thing. There were people who were studying medicine, at Ukraine. Ghanaians that were stuck there, they had to come home. You don't know what will happen after that to your education, to your what have you. So the factors that make people migrate includes those. Some of them are pulling you in from the other end. Some are pushing you out from your very end. And that was the point of the pull and push factors. I don't know if anyone has a question. Thank you, Sarah. Then I take the question before. If not, then we move on. So look at authors. Sometimes when I like your IE questions, I would say with specific reference to authors studied. You have to take note of the authors and what they are saying so that when you are writing, you can reference. This is the 4th year, okay? The trends, the patterns, the drivers, the factors that drive migration, you can get them from this author. So some of the discussions we're having are there. Plahos and Haas. Now, close or open borders. This is another side. So look at the questions we were engaging at the beginning. Those who came in late, look at it. These are the questions that are important to us, the points of discussion. This, the legitimacy of state power. We've done something around that in social and political philosophy together. The state's authority that it wields in ensuring the well-functioning and the well-being of members of its sovereign boundaries. Okay, where does the state get its legitimacy from? The authority to tell you that this is your own property, but don't go there, or sleep, don't step out. When you are naturally a free person and have a right to freedom of movement, but the state can tell you, don't get out of your room. If we catch you, we will lash you. Really? Yes, lockdown did that. The state wielded that power. Where does the state get it from? So then you revise your social and political philosophy, the legitimacy of the state discussion that we had, okay? But then there on that same slide, look at, we are asking what are the boundaries of political membership? And so it looks like the second half of our discussion is looking at where do we mark the boundaries of our membership from? And that's where we are going to. Please look at the closed or open borders. Which author are we looking at? I want a chorus answer, so I see if you are there. Before you go and say, Doc says it is your colleague. Very good. I hope it is not only Ernestina that is in the class.
No, ma.
Or Sarah Asante.
No.
So let your eyes see it. It is not your colleague Sarah Asante. So I don't think that we are referencing. The Sarah whose reference we are going to engage on closed or open borders. The book, the content reference is Political Theories of Migration. Okay, and she did it in 2018. She's called Sarah Song. Okay, so let's look at what Sarah Song says, and then we can continue. Do we have anyone who wants to read again? Then let me call them. If not, it's Hilda and Ernestina so far. Ernestina, go ahead. Look at this. International migration involves. Please read from there.
All right, Doug. International. Let me start. Closed or open borders from Sarah Song, Political Theories of Migration, 2018. International migration involves both exit, which is emigration, and entry, immigration. Public debate in liberal democratic countries has focused mostly on immigration, with the issue often framed in binary terms. You are either for or against it. On one side are those who regard borders as unjust and inefficient. Most migrants want little more than to make better lives for themselves. What moral or political theory could justify preventing people from moving where they want to go? Global egalitarians.
My lady, just a minute, please. So, you're not done. I'm sorry. Finish that. You want to finish that paragraph here, then we can talk. Please go ahead. Sorry, I didn't see the last.
Global egalitarians and libertarians join with immigrants' rights advocates in arguing for generally open borders.
Okay, so the conventional view is to keep it open. Excuse me, I'm sorry. It's not, the view is people move from one place to the other for a reason. There's always a reason. So that we shouldn't make it Do you agree with opening the borders or closing it? That makes it a binary. It's like yes or no. The other things that we would have to look at the factors, the reasons, okay? Because he thinks that on one side, there are those who regard borders as unjust. When you put borders around your nation, I think it is unjust and it's inefficient. That's one group of people. Then there are those, therefore it means they want you to keep the borders open. I hope people are following. Then there are those who think that no, in other words, the opposite. They think no, you must keep the borders closed for the safety of your nation and perhaps only allow those that you want to come in. And look at the intuition. I mean, do you keep your door open because it is not fair that other fellow human beings like you and I, Adam's generation, we are all Adam's generation, people are passing. So you leave your house gate open in case people are hungry, then they can come in and eat. Because you have mango trees and things in your house. Who does that? But should we also build strong borders around ourselves? So in other words, in your home, strong walls with electrocution and security door upon security gate upon security desk, and you'll be inside one, such that if you get a heart attack, then we don't know. People don't even know. The person is dead 3 weeks. No one knows. Because it's overly restrictive. So that is the tension. How should it be managed? And the author, Sarah Song, is reflecting on that. Okay. Most migrants want little more than to make better lives for themselves. Most of them just want better lives. My question is, why do you want the better life in someone's land? What about where you found yourself? Life is how you make it. Make the place good and enjoy the better life there. Because some don't go there to other people's places to seek just better life. They go and mess it up the way they mess their own up. Imagine everybody moving to another place to get a better life. Who should make it better for you to come enjoy that better? This is the tension. You see. Well, others will say, but it's not every person and every place that have equal natural endowment, what nature has given. It's a lie. You may have gold, another may have water. Some may have sun, they have snow. You have to make it work and seek help. Why wouldn't you seek the help from the other person to bring it in to your place and make it better? Why must it be you move to that person's place before you can survive? This is the challenge. And Africans have to, embrace this discussion and stop thinking that you can become better somewhere. Why are you not doing it at your place? That better, do it at your place. Yeah. All right. Okay. So what moral or political theory could justify preventing people from moving where they want to go? Could there be a justification for restricting movement when we know that freedom of movement is basic? It's one of the inalienable rights. You can't take it from a human being. When you do that, you are making the human being look like a stone. So there's a tension, a moral tension of sorts there. People must feel free, must be allowed to move well, but your freedom of movement, you see what I'm doing? I'm doing a devil's advocate. I go this way and I come here and I come here for you to see the various angles of the matter. You can't tell me you have freedom of movement. So this morning, your movement is to go to the Flagstaff House and go and do exercise in front of the president's office. That is where you feel like moving to, or you feel free. You are moving freely. So your movement is to go to the Gobesel's shop and start walking around there. Is that how to move freely into people's bedrooms and stuff like that? You see, you have freedom of movement, but it comes with restrictions of sorts. Anyway, if all that is clear, then we are good to do the next reading. And I think I have some few other hands. So Ernestina and Hilda, please be on standby. I'll take Lady Ruby Atta. My lady, please read the next slide for me. I'm projecting that. Go ahead, please. Go ahead. On the other side of the debate are?
On the other side of the debate are proponents of more restrictive immigration policies. Cultural nationalists view immigration as posing a challenge to the national identity they value. Some nationalists define the nation not only in terms of shared values, but also in racial, ethnic, and religious. Some social democrats and other economic nationalists favor immigration restrictions for a different reason, protecting domestic workers from the competitive pressures said to be generated by immigration.
Very good. Let's look at, suppose I ask the class in a chorus answer, identify 3 groups of people discussed who argue for open borders and critically respond to them. That's a very easy exam question if I were to ask you, and I won't ask you such an easy question because you are tougher than that. But suppose I ask that, identify 3 categories of people, 3 groups of people discussed who argue for open borders and critically examine their argument to show blah, 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 blah. Make Ghana the reference point or reference a contemporary issue, to make it. Which people will come to mind? Raise your hands, please. Raise your hands and answer. Or chorus answers. Maybe people are, okay. Michaeline, I see that your hand is up.
Yeah, Madam Libertarian and then global egalitarian.
And which other people? Libertarians, egalitarians, and which other people? Like, it was on the previous slide that Ernestina read, and I can see that you saw it. Very good. So let's make sure we got that one. Look at them, libertarians. Anyone that is libertarian is, look at the name, liberty, libertarians. Is arguing from liberty. It's arguing that people have freedoms, people have liberties, freedom of movement. So there is no way you should restrict people from moving in or out. Always remember, it's not just people coming in. Migration is dual, is two-way. They are coming in or going out. Sometimes people are prevented from going out. Yes. Also, sometimes people are prevented from coming in. So the question is there any legitimacy for such state authority? The answer, according to libertarians, the ones we are studying now, and egalitarians, the word egalitarian is like another way of saying equal treatment, equality. See? So on the argument of we are all equal human beings, the question is, why would you restrict the movement of your fellow equal human being? Who wants to come in? You say don't come. Or who wants to go out? You say don't go. So on the basis of such egalitarian argumentation of egalitarian means equality, don't let the words be too plenty. So global egalitarians, those who are looking that we are all equal globally, they don't think that you can restrict people's movement based on the equality we share, regardless of where we find ourselves. Look at America's thing again. I cited those when we started. Okay. So on the basis of such argument, or on the basis of we are all free people, free moral agents, we move. Our freedom of movement is inalienable. It is part of what makes us human. It's a basic fundamental human right that shouldn't be taken from anyone. Based on those two, and then now the third one, and those who argue. So let's see, Madam mentioned them. What moral or political, okay, global egalitarians and libertarians join with immigrant rights advocate. So that would be the third group. Immigrant rights advocate, people who advocate for the rights of immigrants. 3 groups of people: immigrant rights advocates, libertarians, global egalitarians argue that borders must be open. When you close them, it is unjust. Right, now, just when we are about finishing, we see the other group of people, and then Madam read it nicely for us. They are the cultural nationalists. Look at the name to tell you what they do. They think that the nation's culture, the way we do things, can be diluted or corrupted or infiltrated. About Chakimi, it will lose its authenticity if we keep infiltrating and opening our borders to everyone. I was given an example with the Qatar World Cup and how there were clear instructions, if you like, or precepts to the people who are coming to Qatar to come and either play the football match FIFA World Cup or to come and watch. That Qatar is a sovereign nation that has rules and regulations that have made them what they are, that you appreciate so much to make them win a bid. I want you to understand. So they would regulate who is coming in, or if you want to come, then you are going to obey what they hold on to. And I don't want to reference a lot of that, but that is a typical example of where people are protecting the national interest, culturally speaking. Okay. So watch. On the other side of the debate are proponents of more restrictive immigration policies. What does that mean? They want you to restrict how people are coming in or going out. They go out too much, they are going to pick things that might not be authentic to how we are. They might bring in things that are not useful. What are some of the things? They might import cultural lifestyles that are not, going to augur well for the well-being of that nation. Okay, but also you want to regulate who is going out and who is coming in. So cultural nationalists advocate for restrictive immigration policies. These people see immigration as posing a challenge to the national identity they value. That is what I was talking plenty about a moment ago. Okay, they value their national identity and they want to restrict who is coming in with which style of living and which values and which perspectives to faith and religion and what have you. That is one of the things. Some nationalists define the nation not only in terms of shared values, but also in racial, ethnic, and religious terms. And I think that the point is well made. So we have cultural nationalists, and keep looking, please, on my screen. Look at these people. All of us, did I just underline, please? What did I just highlight? I want a chorus answer.
Cultural nationalism.
Economic nationalist. Very good. After cultural nationalists, I've also highlighted moments ago economic nationalists. Who do you think they are? They are the people defending border regulation or restriction because they think the economy of the people will suffer. Sometimes look at University of Ghana. Yesterday's discussion with main campus brought that up. We brought that up, that the taxis that are not officially operating on UG campus, but maybe they came from outside to drop someone, you are given a time limit that you have to return and pick your license or something. Why? One of the reasons is we don't want them to make noise, but the other cars make noise anyway, whether private or this. So the point is not really about that, but that there are registered taxis on campus that pay for working there. They pay to get their permission to work on campus. So if you bring in external taxis, plenty of them, they will fight, they will compete for, the economy. In other words, they will compete for the customers, the clients. Now extend that to what an international mind frame or national thinking. People may have a concern about how you are allowing others to come in and go out for economic reasons. Okay. So we know the cultural, the ethnic, the racial one, but we also know economic reasons can make people say that we have to restrict our borders. That should tell you most often it is those who think they have good economies that will argue this way. But those whose economies have already passed, it has become a HIPIC. What are they protecting? Which economy are they protecting? They will say open it rather, because when you open it, we will get external investors to come and boost our already failing economy and what have you. That is why the debate is this way and that way. It goes this way and comes that way. And philosophers like you and I have to engage and offer, direction of sorts. Okay. My lady, read some Social Democrats bit, and then I think we are winding down.
Some Social Democrats and other economic nationalists favor immigration restrictions for a different reason: protecting domestic workers from the competitive pressures said to be generated by immigration.
Immigration. Very good. I want to pause to take questions. If you have any questions, the hands I saw up earlier were Sarah Sante, Lady Ruby, Rebecca. So they are to read. If you want to ask a question, it's a good time to raise your hand. I'll pick you out from the three that are there. Very quickly, please. If you have a question, I want to take your question. Okay, let me take Gertrude, your question, please. Go ahead. Please, what's your question, Gertrude?
But my network was on.
Oh, okay. Then it's fine. Then you are in the queue to read for me. Okay, thank you so much. Let's continue then. Right. So the conventional view. There are lots of topics and themes in the discussion. That is why I'm taking my time to help you see. They don't mix them all up and get overwhelmed. There's no reason to. You see pull and push factors. It's talking migration. You have seen what's the other, open borders and closed borders or restrictive borders. It's talking migration still. We are now going to mention the conventional view. We have seen some authors so far. We have mentioned three authors. There's a fourth one that will stand out prominently, Michael Walzer, in some few minutes. But you have seen Susan excuse me, Sarah Song, and then earlier on we saw the other gentleman. Let's continue. So this is the conventional view, and then to help you understand, then someone will read quickly. So I want to take Sarah. Sarah, read for us. Thank you, Lady Ruby. Be on standby as well. Hilda, Lady Ruby, and Estina. Mr. Bosa, please take note of the names for me. That's why I'm mentioning them, so that they can be rewarded for the effort. Sarah, please, sorry if you are reading, I cannot hear you.
Yes, Doc. The conventional.
Please.
Hello.
Sarah, I could hear you, but I think your background is a bit noisy. If you don't mind, let's take Rebecca Annan, okay? Rebecca, go ahead.
Conventional view. Many theorists writing about justice, equality, freedom, and democracy mostly take for granted that their theories apply within the context of the nation state to those who are already members. Many people take for granted that states have the right to control migration. After all, states do exercise power over borders, regardless of whether there is any compelling justification for it.
Okay, so it looks as if when we say conventional view, the view that is generally accepted and almost unquestioned. People don't question it. They think that, oh, that is what's up. That's what is the case. And so your lady friend, your colleague just read it, outlining what a conventional view is, which is what? That people think that obviously the state has the justification, you know, to restrict that the state has the right to restrict and allow, control, in other words, to regulate. That's why there are embassies that you go to take visa, okay, before you can go into another person's state. And when you get there, there's an immigration officer that will check to see if you have permission to come or not, and so on and so forth. These are all because conventionally, we presume that the state has that obligation, morally speaking, to do so. Now, Michael Walzer is going to argue, and we want to hear what he says. Take note of the names. When we are ending, hopefully, if I remember, we touch on the names again. I'd see that is a bit lacking generally in your write-ups. When you write at level 400, you want to be able to point to who said what. It is important at this level. So you know that so-and-so person argues this way, so-and-so person is so-and-so, and then you can easily point to where the person said so or didn't say so. Okay, it's very enriching. Go ahead, my lady. Rebecca, read.
Conventional view under Michael Walzer. Michael Walzer, 1983, was one of the first contemporary political theorists to explicitly examine the issue of political membership in debates about distributive justice. Political membership is conceivably the most important social good because it has historically determined access to other fundamental goods. Walzer 1983, page 29. It can only be distributed by taking people in. For Walzer, it is obvious who should decide how to distribute the good of membership. We who are already members do the choosing. Page 32. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. So we see what Walzer is saying. When you get to the end there, it is explicit. Walzer's argument is, it is we, those who are already members, who do the choosing. We choose who should become, who should distribute the good of membership. So the citizens have the power to determine how their benefits, their collective benefits, should be what? Shared. This is the point he's making. That means if we select, for example, like America has done, and the person brings his policies, it is, we see the policies in the manifestos before we select them. It means we want them to do what they do. So the people say close the borders, you have to close it. The people say open it, you have to open. America has big and on inauguration day, the inauguration speech, the American president is, we are going to close our southern borders, and the chair was because it is their worry. They believe people are coming, smuggling young girls, human trafficking. They are bringing drugs. That is the assumption. They are bringing drugs. They are swerving taxes and what have you. When legally, employed properly, American people are paying taxes. Others are going through the back door. He said he's closing the southern borders at inauguration day. He hasn't even sat down yet. Telling you that was the heartbeat of the people. Who are the people? Those who are already members of the political group called what? America. That is what they want. Walzer says it is those we who are already members that choose how to distribute the good of membership. Okay. Now let's see if there is a further elaboration. This one we have to read a good number of them. So Melody, go ahead. We'll do the final reading and then I'll call someone.
To elaborate of the political community and whether it has the right to control migration and membership, Walzer compares political communities with three more local, more familiar associations, neighborhoods, clubs, and the first analogy is with neighborhoods, which is defined as a random association of people living in close proximity. Because neighborhoods have to formal admissions policy, people are able to move into and out of neighborhoods for reasons of their own, subject only to the constraints of the market. Should countries be like neighborhoods, permitting people to move to whichever one they want? Walzer argues they should not.
Very good. Everyone heard that, right? So I won't say anything in addition. He's showing you three scenarios of membership, belonging, association. Some of you are Africlass members. They keep telling you that you are not automatic members. You are a member when you pay your dues and you participate in activities, okay? So membership of a group, a political group for that matter, is what he's, explaining. And he wants to show you what political membership properly conceived is not. It is not like a neighborhood where you decide to come in and go as you like. This is the first point. He's saying that don't think of political membership as if you were thinking about being a member of a neighborhood. The second one he's going to show is don't think of, so let's see what he said. And I want to see if you heard that. Why is he talking neighborhoods, clubs, and families? What is the point? The point is to show his argument for closed borders. He's trying to say that close the borders, but he wants to make his argument first. Who is this? Michael Walzer. What is he arguing for? He's saying that you shouldn't treat your political membership in it. So if it's a nation or a state or a federal state like America or Nigeria, there will be governing bodies for each state. Lagos State, so and so state will all have their governors. If you go to America, the different states, even when it was COVID time, some closed their, some did lockdown, some didn't for a period because they have different, but the entire United States of America also has its policy direction. Now we are trying to clarify, according to Michael Walzer, that states or political membership is not like neighborhood. So let's see whether he thinks it is like clubs. Thank you so much, Becca, Anna, Becky. Thank you so much. Let's take Gertrude now. Gertrude, this is your turn. Gertrude, I hope your background is fine, so you hear us, and then you can read. Right. Sabosa, please give marks. Oh. Hey, Ekidogbe, is that your background? They are dancing there.
Yes, please do that.
Go ahead. Hey, and you wait here. Oh, my sister, that place, the way the song is bashing there, we'll lose focus. I beg. We want to go to party already. Then the people too are giving us music. That was idea better. Let's see if the when you have online class, okay, well, maybe this was a relatively short notice. But when you do have it, I think that you would want to find a quiet place and next thing you're laughing at me. Let's take Doreen, let's see if you have your background is fine. Doreen Krista. Chum Williams.
Conventional view.
Excellent. Let's go ahead.
Political communities have an obligation to provide for the security, welfare, and culture of their members. In a world of open borders, neighborhoods might maintain some cohesive culture for a generation or two on a voluntary basis, but over time, the cohesion will disappear.
I hope you see the point. So, I mean, how many times can I pound my fufu and then when I say, oh, go and give our neighbor some? Oh, go and maybe Christmas, yeah, yes. Maybe Easter, yeah, once in a while, yes. Or maybe some weekends be when but it cannot be a daily, consistent, regular upkeep of neighbors, welfare, your security, your gate. Every day when you are going there, bring your children, take care of them for me. Won't I go to work too? Or I'm also bringing my children to you. So my welfare cannot be another person's when we are dealing with each other as neighbors. This is the point. He says, when we have a political community, there is an obligation, it's a duty. Our current president, JDM, has a duty to provide security. That's why national security is a problem. Security comes in various forms. If there is darkness in the nation, we have a security crisis. Oh yeah, if armed robbers are entering into people's homes and the physical security we know cannot stop them, we have a problem. If we have traffic everywhere such that just taking someone to the hospital for their diabetes injection can kill them on the way, it is a security issue. Those of you like to do government, the Bible says, don't be in a hurry to lead, because the leader's responsibility is big. When they give them small, big money, they will be angry. It is not a joke. Political communities have an obligation to provide such security, welfare, and the culture of their members. That cannot be fully, regularly, and consistently provided for if the relationship we are thinking of is the one like neighborhood. Some can pass through and go. So we have open borders. People can come in and go anytime. How do you check for welfare? How do you raise resources to help us, galvanize and protect ourselves? When people came in yesterday and they are allowed to go and they come, so when there's plenty food, they come and eat some, and then they go. We can't have that kind of neighborhood thinking of political membership. Says who? Michael Walzer. Please go ahead, sister. Gabriel, be on standby. You read next.
Walzer suggests that the state's right to control immigration rests in part on the goal of preserving distinctive cultures. The distinctiveness of cultures and groups depends upon closure, and without it, cannot be conceived as a stable feature of human life. If this distinctiveness is a value, as most people seem to believe, then closure must be permitted somewhere. At some level of political organization, something like the sovereign state must take shape and claim the authority to make its own admissions policy, to control and sometimes restrain the flow of immigrants. Walzer,
Quotes.
1983, page 39.
Page 39. Well done. We just quoted the man. So he thought that maintaining the distinctiveness of culture, how people do that. I mentioned the Kata folks. You know that it is a religious state, how they dress. You can't even go and I'm told, be hitting people's wives and things, in the name of we are liberal and free and no, you cannot be doing that. So you can't go stealing and thinking that, all stealing be stealing. After all, just 3 months and I'm out. No, that is what I'm saying. So the Waza is pointing to something. He says the right to control immigration rests partly. So one of the things, not the only thing, but one of the reasons why people advocate for controlling immigration, that is regulating who comes in and who goes out, is because they seek to maintain the distinctiveness of cultures. If this is something to look out for, then borders must be closed, says what? Not closed, but borders must be regulated, restricted. If you get permission, then you come. If you don't have visa, then you go. American visa, now even booking for appointment to go and ask for the visa, is wahala. If you joke 1 year, you won't get appointment. Why are you not doing your name? Some of you want to go. I'm telling you, even conferences, paid, fully paid. You are going there for 3 days or something to come. If you don't make compelling arguments, it's a lie. Because they have to restrict the thing to protect you too. Why is it that when people are coming to your nation, you are not restricted? You are begging people to come. What is the difference? What is happening wrongly? Is America heaven? Perhaps there are certain things that are there. We discussed development. We have also discussed colonial mentality and the need for decolonizing. You can put your discussions around this. Don't think that it's always because perhaps there's something better there. Sometimes also because we are unappreciative of what we think we have. You may have fine, breakfasts that is healthy, nutritious, economically effective. It's not expensive because you find it within your range, but you won't value it and you'll be looking for KFC because you think that perhaps that is what is chic and classy, but maybe nutrition-wise, it is not. So sometimes people's evaluation of what they think they have or they don't have could also inspire their wanting to go out there. How can you sell family property, land, maybe 10 acres or something to get a figure to bugger and go and become a cleaner where you gather and gather and gather before you get half of what you sold properties for to go in? What is the logic in this? You can't come home, you don't have flight money, but it's not everybody that goes out there that is doing well. Some can't come home. They don't have lorry fare. I mean flight. So they are when I say streeting, in quotes, all the streeting you can think of. My point is, it's not always because there's perhaps a greener pasture anywhere. Most of the cases there may be, but in other cases, it is not greener pastures. It's just a mindset that thinks that place is better than here. And who can help out? Okay. So back to where we are. People therefore want to maintain their distinctiveness and allow for and prevent the infiltration of others. This will be your last read, my lady. Then I will call Gabriel. Go ahead.
This cultural imperative grounds Walzer's case for the state's rights to control immigration, but he adds a qualification. The right to restrict entry does not entail a right to restrict exit. Controlling immigration is necessary to defend the liberty and welfare, the politics and culture of a group of people committed to one another and to their common life. But controlling immigration involves coercing people who no longer wish to be members. Walzer, 1983, page 39. Except in times of national emergency when everyone has a duty to work for the country's survival. Citizens must be free to exit their country if they wish.
This is very important, eh? Very, very important, so that you get how cogent the arguments are. He says, I have been advocating so far for control or regulation, restriction on immigration. External people coming in, they are coming in immigration. Okay, that one, I think that you have to put restrictions on how many people and who we permit in. Should we ask suicide bombers or, recalcitrant folks, armed robbers, human traffickers, to come in? Boko Haram should come in just because they are also human beings equally like us. No, Walter says no. I am advocating for regulating incoming immigration. See that, but he doesn't think the same argument pertain when we are talking about emigration, outgoing. Someone is in and says, I'm tired. I'm tired of this place. They won't allow me to leave my fine head, and I've gone to do that looks like Beyonce's hair. As if it's anything to go by. They say I shouldn't expose my hair, so I'm tired. I want to go somewhere where I can show my skill, my hairstyle. I can practice the religion that I want to without cohesion. Now, then you say, I will not let you go. Michael Walzer says that one there, I don't think I can have defense for it. The earlier one, I can, where I'm preventing people from coming in because we are a membership and we determine who comes in to join our thing. But if someone is going out, you can insist that they shouldn't go. Then he puts a caveat there, unless there is a national emergency, COVID. And every nation has an obligation of protecting its members. So you can't ask people to go out and get infected. If they want to come back in as members, they will bring it in. So that is what the lockdown was about. Internal restriction on immigration. You can move. If you moved those 3 days or the 1 week, ready? The way they will lash you, let's do online class at that time. So I don't know if it was your batch. No, you people were not in there. You are in, this is 2025. No, you were no, I'm talking 2020. I had started the online with my student too. Doc, we don't like online, but I would like in person, and not knowing COVID was coming. Some portions of the lectures were done online. That's a car. Come and see these people. We don't like. This is face to face. If it's face to face, you can see them as Johnny Bravo and Ajwasli. Not knowing God was bringing COVID. Is it God that brought it? I don't know. He permitted it. Now, the nation had insisted that you don't move. You say, I'm hungry, I don't have food. We don't care. Stay inside there, you won't die. If you die too, you alone will die, rather than plenty of people going to die. I'm trying to show you that so for national emergencies like that, there can be a lockdown. You can be restricted from moving out. Okay, so that we all put our hands to the desk and help deal with the problem that we are all confronting. That is his point. Very nicely made. I'm still looking out for the next symbolism, and that is what claps. Gabriel, you can do the reader for us. All the ladies read very fine, eh? You are doing very well. So Gabriel, your turn now.
Okay. Conventional view continue.
Yeah.
Countries are like clubs. Clubs have admissions committees and the right to control who can become a member, but they cannot prevent members from leaving. Like members of a club, members lawmakers establish general categories for admissions and exclusion, and numerical limits, and admissible individuals are taken in with varying degrees of administrative discretion. Some theories have made use of this club analogy with explicit reference to freedom of association to defend the state's to control immigration.
Very good. That is from who? Wellman. Very good. Wellman 2008. So take note of what your colleague Gabriel read. still building on the thought that there are three symbolisms. Nations are not neighborhoods, or countries are not neighborhoods. But this one thinks countries are like clubs. Who is speaking now? Wellman, okay? Clubs have admission committees and the right to control who comes in and who goes out. Who comes in, but they cannot prevent you from exiting. If I say I don't want to be a member of so and so club again, why? Is it by force? Say, why are you leaving? We will not let you leave the club. If you leave, we'll arrest you. Hey, alone. So, I mean, club, the normal club, not a cultic Nokoi. That one is not a club. But a club at Africlass. Then I choose to join. I pay my dues, everything. Then I notice that you shouldn't do, but I noticed that for some reason I don't want to. I should feel free to exit. This one is saying that. So he thinks that when the general qualifications for becoming a member, the categories for admitting you and excluding you if you are not in right standing, you can't be, if you are not in so and so level, you can't occupy a certain position. If you have occupied a certain position before in Africlass, you can't do another one, etc. These are the rules that guide the club. Then perhaps they can have numerical limits. We could place limits on how many people can come in. When we get the number, we say it's okay, the quota is met. There are more than that, we can't serve our members well and stuff like that. Okay, schools do that. Schools are like that in a certain sense. We admit you, if you come in and you say, "Oh, as my school, this plenty noise, crying, it's no show," you can exit. Okay. Now, so because it allows for freedom of association. Keep looking on my screen. There we go. Freedom of association. That means you can come in and decide to go out so far as you are going by the rules. Who is speaking there? Wellman 2008. Very good. Wait. Gabriel, please finish up with this one.
Conventional will continue. Walzer again compares the state to families. For it is a feature of families that their members are morally connected to people they have not chosen, who live outside the household. That is Walzer 1983, page 41. Unlike members of a club, members of political community often believe they are morally to open the doors of their country to a particular group of outsiders, those recognized as national or ethnic relatives. The implications of this kinship principle for immigration policy include giving priority to the relatives of citizens and taking in co-ethnics who are persecuted by other states.
Very good. The point here is there is a sense in which nations or countries are like family. You don't choose them. You are just your brother's brother, or your brother's sister, or your sister's sister, or your brother's sister. You are it. You didn't choose it. That means when I feel that this other person who is coming in is like a brother to me on ethnic grounds or kinship principle, it allows a certain permission of coming in and going out, which wouldn't have been permissible if we're dealing with the person as what? A neighbor. A neighbor, you can share some associations, but then it will not be a demand made on you. But if you think of the person coming in as, like Nigerians are coming to Ghana, it's like Omo Niger, we are brothers and sisters. See the thinking. If we think of it that way, you see that the policies for restriction are managed differently compared to if we think of this person coming from somewhere to here as a non-ethnically or kinshiply related. This is the point he's making. So there is a sense in which countries are like, are like families. So there are kinship ties associated with it. Gabriel, please read this also, Gabriel. And then we can ask another person to read.
Okay, please. Taking stock of these analogies, Walzer underscores something that is unique about political communities. They possess jurisdiction over a particular territory. Unlike neighborhoods and families, states have the right to control the physical location and movement of members and non-members in the territory. Yet, like clubs, they have the general right to set their admissions policy, and like families, they have an obligation to take in those recognized as the national family.
Very good. That was what I was explaining. So nations look like, or countries look like clubs in certain ways, but they are different in this way. The comparison was to help us illustrate how to treat national boundaries or borders. If your sister came from America, didn't tell you she was coming, but you open your door and say, hey, Yaya, you open the door wide and high because she's your sister. So that border restriction of your door at home, use that as a symbolism. It's not like if a neighbor was passing, knocked on your door and said, please, so it's late and I'm finding a place. So I was going to my uncle, but I've missed the house. Can I sleep in your home there tomorrow morning? I find you say, hey, yeah, we're here. But if it were your sister or brother or mother or sister-in-law or brother-in-law, you would see that the posture will be different. So in certain senses, the national borders are like clubs where you set your rules of admission, and they are like families where you feel obligated to help a fellow, like the Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, or the sub-region. You think that we are like a family, you know. So when it comes to that, you see that the obligation on you is not so much about restriction. You feel that you must help. Look at the Liberian. We have a Liberian camp. We had it at I think recently at the Budu Room. But there are Ghanaians that don't have a place to lay their head. But we feel that, oh no, this is our family. They are family and they've had issues. We created a whole place to host them. I'm trying to show you what we mean so that nations can act like that with their fellow neighboring citizens of other nations when they see them as what family. But also, it has some aspects of it like a club where it sets its rules and determines who will come in and who and regulate the membership behavior and what I be like Africlas does. Like University of Ghana has its rules. You don't patch, you don't do this, don't do that. But if you decide to exit UG, no one can say that we are not letting you go. No, you may want to choose to do something else after a while. In that sense of it, they are like Gabriel, since you're reading very well, then do this last one for me, please. There's Stephanie be on standby. Go ahead.
Okay. Walzer suggests one more constraint on the right of states to control migration. They are bound by the principle of mutual aid. Positive assistance must be provided to foreigners outside the territory if it is urgently needed, and the risks or costs of giving it are relatively low. Wealthy countries can usually fulfill this duty by sending aid to poorer countries. But in the case of persecuted and stateless people, the duty can be met only by taking them in. Walzer, 1983, page 33 and 45. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir. The point, therefore, is that even after all that have been said, remember earlier on, I don't know if you took note of what Gabriel read, that what makes a nation or a country quite different from clubs or families is that they have clearly a territorial boundary. Let me take you there for a minute because I want to use that to show you something. Come back to the same. They possess jurisdiction, paragraph 2, over a particular territory, unlike neighborhoods and families. States have the right to control the physical location and movement of members and non-members in the territory. You see, so this is what makes it, they have the control, they have a right to do that. I don't know if let's say Gamanche has the right to control the Ga person when he or she decides to move out. They don't have that kind of control. Theirs is submerged under, I think, the statutory one, the state's one. Okay, but the state can say you are not going. That is why you come with your immigration, whatever. We look at your permission to go out and your permission to come in. If there is none, we can't let you go. Where are you going? So you have to show us that you have a visa that permits you to go to America. When you go to America, they also check and see if they gave you the permission to enter America. If they didn't give it, you will be a stateless person. You work hard, so if you don't find a way, they go back home. That's the point you are making. And so states have that one. Now, based on that, a friend, your colleague read that. So you might think that then if I don't have a familial relationship with you, I don't have a sense of club association with you as a nation, neither do I have a neighborhood. Neighborhood perhaps will be the argument for Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, Nigeria, whatever. They are within our neighborhood. What about Azerbaijan? The point he makes is, I've said all this, but there are other factors that could still elicit an open border from us. That is what mutual aid. Mutual means I do it for you, you do it for me. I do it for you, you do it for me. It's a mutual thing. So China can do something for us, and therefore we could also admit someone, okay? Especially, he says, where there are persecuted people and there's a sense of urgency, you have to give them asylum of sorts. Then you may want to open the door on the basis of mutual aid. So I may not share any of those early analogies of a nation with you, but I could still get you in or out, depending on mutual aid. Okay. Now, Stephanie, please, if you are there, let's read.
Okay. Arguments for open borders. Many scholars reject the conventional view in favor of open borders. They begin from the basic liberal premise of the moral equality of all human beings and interpret liberal principles as requiring a policy of open borders. Joseph Carey, the leading proponent of open borders, highlights the unfairness implicit in being born a citizen of a wealthy country. Like being born into a wealthy family, citizenship acquired by being born in the territory of or to parents who are citizens of wealthy liberal democratic state is a matter of luck. It is, to borrow a phrase from Rouse, that is 1971, page 72, so arbitrary from a moral point of view, but so strongly determines our prospects in life.
Is there anybody's fault that somebody was born poor? But that's the point. This Joseph Clarence is arguing for open borders. He thinks you open the borders. So Madame read the first line, she didn't confuse you. She says many scholars reject the conventional view and rather do what? They rather favor open borders. That means the conventional view is what? Closed borders or restrictive borders. That is what conventionally we think. Your simple small room where you have cornflakes in your locker. I was teasing your level 400 colleagues here that cornflakes you have eaten it 3 months now. You pour small, then you tie it and put down. When you get a visitor, they eat the cornflakes for the person to think that you are chopping something. When they go, it's okay. The cornflakes is so that small cornflakes inside the crunchy. You keep your door locked. Restrictive, You keep it locked. You see, because you are protecting what you have. So that seems to be the conventional view. Now, these folks we are going to look at shortly. Joseph Carens is one of them things that you are keeping it locked because you have something in. But if you are wealthy, it is just a matter of luck. You didn't merit it. It's not something you did. You are just lucky that you have it. And that is so arbitrary that it cannot be the basis on which, because you think you have it, you are locking the door to others who are coming in to have some. Hey, Joseph Carens, my father. Once a media, I don't agree with you. So look at the paragraph 2. It said they begin from the basic liberal premise of the moral equality of all human beings. They think that we are all morally equal. I told you, egalitarian, all morally equal, and therefore, and interpret liberal principles, liberality, liberal, freedom, free will. Take note of the words, as requiring a policy of open borders. They think if we are all equal and we are all free, then the borders must be open for everyone to be able to come in and go. Really? Oh, it won't work. Let's see. Maybe there are some things we must look out for. Of course, the buts and the ifs. There's an emergency, asylum, COVID is drought. The people have suffered a natural disaster. Look at what the fire is doing in California. Then there is nowhere to go, and the people are around, and you can't close your borders because there's a humanitarian issue there. But when people intentionally mess up, there's no way. And then they want to come and enjoy something, hard-earned resources. There's a reason to manage it. Okay, so perhaps that is where the key issues are, and that's what the next paper on migration, I think it's Wong or something's paper, is trying to do. When do we owe it as an obligation to open, and when should we close? But at this stage, Joseph Karens and others like him who argue for open borders think that we are obliged, there's an obligation to open on the basis of what? Moral equality and the liberal principles that come with it. Stephanie, I've done the next slide.
Okay. Argument for open borders. In his early work, Karens built his case for open borders by drawing on utilitarianism, libertarianism, and liberal egalitarianism. Each of these theories shares the assumption of the equal moral worth of all human beings. If we take this premise seriously, we have no basis for distinguishing between citizens and aliens who seek to become citizens, whether the moral standard is maximizing utility, respecting the right to liberty, or ensuring equal basic liberties and some measure of material equality.
Very good. Now, I think I've spoken about that, so we'll move on. But take note of, we are all citizens of the world, so to speak. So don't distinguish citizens of your nation from aliens of your nation who seek to become citizens. Weren't they citizens somewhere before seeking to become citizens here? What are they bringing? What are they coming to take? It's very important. Otherwise, everyone will stop developing their states so that they become citizens somewhere else. But the point Joseph Karens and others are making is that respecting the right to liberty, ensuring equal basic liberties. You see, Rawls is heavily represented here, if you remember his social and political philosophy. Okay, you can do the last one, Stephanie, then someone else reads. Thank you. Stephanie Buediwa is the name, Isabosa.
Yes. Most recently, scholars have developed additional arguments for open borders. They fall into two main categories. The first appeals to the liberal egalitarian ideals of moral equality and equality of opportunity. The basic claim is that respecting the moral equality of all human beings requires a commitment to global equality of opportunity. According to Karens, equality of opportunity requires that access to social positions should be determined by an individual's actual talents and capability and capacities, not limited on the basis of arbitrary native characteristics such as class, race, or sex.
That's true. We agree with them. But for people who have come in and have attained membership, not the person who wants to come and show their talent and their skill. I think I'm just arguing out as I react to their point. They want to come and show their talent and capacities in another person's, setting where they have created the political good that you see there. That's the challenge. If it's not, I mean, can the devil and his cohort want to come to heaven because the place is cozy? Create a cozy environment in hell and enjoy it there. But you mess up your place, and then you say you want to come and show what talents and capacities you have in another. Because if you have already become an immigrant, you have come in already, then the arguments that are being pushed will make sense. But this is a policy about you're coming in at all or you're going out. You are now applying for the visa to come in. You say, let me come and show you my talent and my skills, so that on the basis of that, you take me in, not just my color or where I come from. Why are you coming in the first place? Germany did the same thing. When we're even traveling for our Bonn trip, I mean, it was tough, man. But some of us were just, we got it straight, because I don't even have the time currently, respectfully, to stay somewhere else. I love my home in Ghana. I'm doing very fine. You want me to come and tell you something? So give me a visa, And we got it. But some of the members on the team couldn't go. Some had to get a change. We had to use because they are restricting that talent or capacity that you said you are coming to show. They show it in your nation. So that is the point. And I think that if you are engaging the discussion as a philosopher, those questions are very pertinent. They have to be answered. Don't play the card of don't be racist, don't be this. Whose home should you come and demonstrate your equal abilities and opportunities? Why have you not done so where you are, so that we can also come? Then we'll be compatriots. We visit you a while, you also visit us a while. But this posture where people feel that they should take their bag and baggage and make it the burden of other people's nations. I tell you, look at what Burkina Faso is doing now. That is an immigration policy that they are pushing. All French, whatever, get your bags and baggage and get out. And we are clapping. Because we like it when people are defending their sovereignty and using what they have there to do. Then we become compatriots. Well, if you bring me something, I give you something in return. That one is mutual aid. It's respectful of each other. But not that you will come and sit on me and dictate what I will eat and take my resources and water. He says, get out. The same way a large number of people who don't like colonialism of any version would clap for Burkina and the gentleman, the Traore. That is how you should respect Trump. When he says that all these people that are coming in illegally, and he stresses that, hey, you enter even a rat who is not a human being. When a rat decides to illegally, is there an illegal entry for rat? When a rat decides to illegally enter your kitchen and is sharing your food with you, you say that we are all living things, God's creation? Oh, so I think that that debate must be looked at closely. This gentleman, that is their point, says that don't use class, race, or sex, but look at the talent and the capacities of people. No problem. After you have legitimately gained access into the nation, we will talk about that. But for now, on what basis do you think that we should just open borders? We should just open because you have a talent. Who cares? The people inside also have talent. We'll use the talent in here to develop our nation. Use your talent where you are to develop yours and enjoy it. If there is something you have that we don't have, you won't even beg us to open the door for you. We will come and beg to collect some of your talent so that you also beg to collect. Then it is mutual respect. Look at France, or better look at England, US, UK, England and UK. Where are they? European nations. They can even agree to do European Union. Spend one currency because everybody is pushing. You look at our echo. What happened to our echo? Some people want to become beggars for life. Who should build for you to come and enjoy? And dear philosophers, think and stop pushing the burden on someone to carry your baggage. The way we can give birth to when we go, everybody is giving birth to 2, 3, so that the resources they are sharing with. We can give birth to 12. One wife has 12. The other one too has started giving birth. the resources are the same. And you come and enjoy a little. The teenager has given birth to 3. all of them on welfare. Who should manage that? You see, that's the challenge. Anyway, thank you very much. I'm the spokesperson for Donald Trump, and I'm sure very soon, if Ghana also would think of those things, it will help us. We have a lot of resources. Look at Ghana, 33 million people. We can grow tomatoes and pepper and beans and corn to feed on and be happy. Love each other, go to school, learn. When you close, you go and sit under the tree and chat till God calls you home. Look at this small nation with plenty of resources. We can take on. Have you seen the size of UK, United Kingdom? Have you seen the size? Check. It is holding the whole world's balls. Apologies, guys. Look at the pound sterling. How strong the economy has become. Even in the weakness. Look at the size of UK. You can, after class, Google and say, size of UK compared to Ghana or Africa or something. You will see, small nation. But the pounds is strong. Look at your cities and the pounds. And we are still complaining. Compare America's size to UK. UK is still holding dollar and pounds are not the same in value. What is doing that? You have to be interested in that. Make your home like that. Let your people love what they grow, eat it, love their education, their language, learn from others, yes, but love yours. So much so that the more there's no incentive to go out there too much. Go. You make their culture shine. We have a Confucius building in University of Ghana. You think the Chinese are sick to invest so much? It is the culture that is being sold so you can get accustomed to it. You love the language, you love their dealings, you visit there. How much is Ghana putting somewhere for people to know Ghanaian language, Ghanaian this? Where is the money to even feed yourself? So I'm saying that the attitude must be how to make yours better, not how you go and make a case for others who have made theirs well to accommodate you in the name of open the border. We are all human beings. Don't be racist. Why racist? Anyway, my lady, is it a lady? Yes, Daniela. Daniela, you do the last read for us and then we can end. I'll share this to everyone. I think it's useful. When we finish, help me pull it out. Otherwise, that is it. I have plenty recordings. I won't find it crap. So this is the last but 2 or 3 slides. Argument for open borders. My lady, go ahead, Daniela. Arms.
Yeah. More recently, I think the last person read this slide.
I have projected it. Please, I have projected it, my lady.
Okay. More recently, scholars have developed additional arguments for open borders. They fall into 2 main categories.
Hey, which one am I projecting? I said they have moved that slide though. Yes, I have moved this slide. Hold on, don't worry. Let me reshare it. I have moved the slide you are reading. Maybe it's just not showing. Okay, so let me reshare it, then you can see it.
All right.
Okay, so I've reshared it. Can anyone see citizenship is also an arbitrary characteristic, please?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe my lady is having a difficult. Sometimes the network is slow for some. So then, if you don't mind, can we ask? Can we? I'll have another session, so I don't want us to delay, but I want us to finish the content. So Gabriel, you can do the reading for me, please. Okay.
Okay, please. Argument for open borders continue. Citizenship is also arbitrary characteristic. So it follows that citizenship status is not an appropriate basis upon which to distribute access to rights and opportunities. By restricting immigration, states deny equal opportunity to those who who are entitled to it. In this regard, immigration restrictions constitute an unjust form of discrimination, akin to discrimination on the basis of class and sex.
Thank you very much. Just a comment there because I've already said so much on that. If you are passing by and I'm eating in my compound, my children and I sitting around that table, you try your food and cry with chicken, and you are hungry. The fact that I didn't allow you to enter my gate is not discrimination. Why should I trust who you are? What your actual intentions are? I may decide to dish some of this is the debate we had, a discussion on libertarian, was it libertarians and the socialist something we did, the social and political philosophy. It's the same thing. We have to argue well. If I have something and I can give it to you as aid. But it is not an entitlement you have of my thing. Who is speaking this way? The libertarians, you remember? It's my thing. My liberty, my freedom, my right. Okay, we have heard you. When you do, I am passing, and just when you and your children are eating the fufu, fire, God forbid, there's fire outbreak, boo, boo, boo. That one there, you will think that, oh, my brother passing, oh, come here, or your car slant and then enters the drain. That one there, you remember that. you are not, you will call for help. On that basis, these folks are arguing that treat people equally. See people who are genuinely asking for access to come in there as your fellow humans, either like your family, you see that, or treat them like people who have a need that you can meet. Insofar as they have talents and skills, they might even come and boost your economy. They might be a useful hand. Eliezer was helped by Abraham when he was being, maltreated by his former master also. Abraham paid for his, freedom, and he didn't think that he was going to stay with him at all. He just paid for him to go. But the gentleman became Abraham's strongest right-hand man, governized his household and what have you. Sometimes that is how it turns out. And so what? I want us to end, but take note. And so what is the point? The point is, I try to make a case a little for those who are saying that don't make it look like it is our thing. We will do it the way we want it. You might have need, but the other side of it, and I counter them, is don't also argue that it is discrimination. If you say I'm discriminating, it means you have a right to that thing. That is mine. Why do you want a right to my property, my body, my title? What is mine? You are advocating for a right to it, or you are pleading that I have mercy and give you some. If you are pleading, then please let me give you what I can give. You don't demand it. That is why. So the visa people say we can only allow for 20 people in a year because our nation is already struggling with resources. It's already infiltrated with so many people. Look at the number of people moving around, 244 million. Go and see how many have come to Ghana. They haven't come here. They are living here. Oh, but they are going to build other people's economy. Why are they not building our own? They should stay and build our own and stop saying that it's human labor. The people are taking our labor. Nobody came to drag anybody from Ghana out. The pull factor was bigger than the push. So if, well, perhaps not even than the push. The pull factor was high. The push factor too was high. So we are pushing the person out and the attractive things are also more. We have to check those. I think that if we reconcile that discussion with our development discussion, you will see why there's a lot of pain. Look at government going, government coming, government going. And there's virtually no show. We hope for a greater show this time, and we just hope. But if we don't change certain mindsets and certain perspectives, and we are insisting that the thing must go this way, the only way is to develop your own, till the land, love it, grow it, eat what you grow, and build an economy for yourself, which will make your young ones and not just the young ones, but the family. I mean, value your own life and only take help where it is much needed. Don't carry your bag and baggage and think that there's greener pasture somewhere. The people grew the grass for it to be green. The one that you want to go and enjoy for free. Okay, so I see that as there's a name there. Mollendorf argues everyone in the world should have the same opportunity set. Yati. Why not live in the sea? Go and express your. I'm sure someone say, "Oh, doc, if you have plans of traveling to go as I say, oh, doc, be patient on us. It's not." The sea is there. Go and express your opportunity with the whales and what have you. We want bread and butter. They be a finished product. Then you come and sit in and enjoy. No, Garden of Eden was done long time ago. Then where you just put Adam inside to enjoy. No. That same Garden of Eden, Adam was asked out to. They said, go and till the land. You sweat to it. People must have that posture. So you build it. You build systems. You build structures. You build farmlands. You build businesses, factories. You build value systems. You build families. It is built. Huh? When you see the finished product, then you want to go and enter. You are going to enter, so you beg. You are making it a right you have on the basis of we are all human beings. Anyway, why are you leaving the human beings in your hometown? Okay. If equality of opportunity were realized, a child growing up in rural Mozambique would be statistically as likely as the child of a senior executive at a Swiss bank to reach the position of the latter's parent. Go and say this respectfully to Mozambique. Tell Mozambique to do that. That's my point. Don't make it the burden of the rich person. I am not a highly rich person, but comparatively, but I did hard, a dint of hard work. Systems and society structures that will allow it, and people thinking, not trying to make it other people's burden. This should not be addressed to America or UK or Canada or what have you. That look, you should know that the Mozambique girl there could have been like your people. Go and tell the Mozambican president that let's create opportunities for this fine lady. Here, the opportunities are even better here, where there's sunlight. A number of other theorists view global equality of opportunity as an important element of global justice. Yes, no two ways about it. But after you have qualified to enter, I think, don't make that case that because of that, the people should open their borders. Will you open your small dormitory door and make it open? Your shelter is there. All the people on the floor can come in and dish some and go. When you did your susua, all of you collected the loan, student loan, and you thought that, if I do shelter, I can eat rice with it, I can eat kinky with it, even yam, what have you, buy small handouts. So I have shelter container one that I've done this weekend for 2 weeks. Then I'll be mixing it with Indomie a bit. Once in a while, I'll do some gobe without the shelter. So combination, I've done some Tom Brown. So you use that and you have arranged it with that plan. You and your roommates, 2 of you have done that. You say we are all Adam's generation on the floor. So the door should open. Why have you closed your locket? How are you like that? Why are you discriminating against us? Hey. And the justly. I think the point is made. Let me see if there's something else I didn't add. Okay. Argument for open borders. Second set of argument for open borders rests on the value of freedom. We have said that. I think it's an elaboration of the point we made earlier. There are 3 people. Okay. Freedoms. We should be free to move. We should be allowed to move around. I said if you are expressing your freedom of movement, doesn't mean you should go and move in people's bedrooms and enter their doors and be looking for them without their permission. It is always restrictive. That is why that is the conventional view. I allow who I want to come into my office at what time. Don't say, "Doc, open your office." It's freedom of movement. Hey, it's 5 p.m. I've closed. Everything else I'm doing is packing up and getting ready to go home. You said freedom of movement. Doc, open your car and let me sit inside. We are going. Hey, it can't work that way. I think you get the point. Okay. Freedom of international movement is a logical extension of rights. That right cannot extend into people's. I'm on slide number 34. I just want to make sure I'm done. Of 37. So in 2 minutes, we should be out. Another consistency argument is made with regard to exit and entry. The right to exit one's country is widely recognized as a human right. Yes, I agree with that. I want to exit. If there is no emergency, you can't keep me in and say that we will not let you go. No. So that is understandable. Okay. Cole argues that the right to exit a country entails the right to enter another. Really? Because the right to exit is necessary, it implies that the right to enter is also necessary. I have left my home, my marriage, so I must enter yours. Think about it. That is what the guy means. That guy was beating me too much, and I've left him. So it means you must let me become his wife, and we'll share him. Hey, reflect. Okay, he says there's a symmetry there. So if you allow us to exit there, then we must have an international law that also permits us to enter. No, we are philosophers. No, don't push that on us. Okay, so that Cole argues that the liberal asymmetry position advanced by Walzer, as discussed, blah, 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 that not. Walzer thinks, no, they are not. So we can have the right to exit. It doesn't necessarily mean people must have international rights of entry. There is no symmetrical connection there. Slide number 35, what else? Okay, so more examples to show the right of entry and right of exit, whether one implies the other necessarily or not. Okay, and then the last slide. Okay, so Karens himself says that if migrants pose a threat, very good. If you know that, then why are you saying that is human right? And this he himself says, everyone watch, that's where we end. This gentleman we saw earlier, Joseph Karens, thinks that people must open their borders to others because we are all equal, what have you. But see what he says here now. If Karen says, if migrants pose a threat to national security, then states are justified in excluding them. National security could border on food security. What we have is enough to feed us. So we can't bring 300 million people to come and join our 33 million because they want to come and they are human beings like that. It can be a security issue for food. On that note, we have concluded on migration, and I hope that you will do your readings, and then if you still have questions, we can mop them when we meet. Any questions, please? Let me stop the recording. Any questions, please? Kingsley.